Hi, I'm Matt with ApplianceVideo.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the light switch, also known as the plunger switch, on this Whirlpool freestanding ice maker.
Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for proper voltage.
You will need the following tools before you begin this repair: a painter's tool, a 1/4-inch nut driver,
A heat gun,
a flathead screwdriver, and long nose pliers.
A defective light switch will either cause your light bulb not to come on or the light bulb will not turn off when you go to close the door. Easiest way to diagnose it would just be you can either check voltage at your light socket and look for 120 volts there when the door is open and press the plunger in and your voltage should drop away. So if you basically are pressing in on the plunger and the light stays on, then you know your light switch is bad. It can also be continuity tested with a meter. To begin this repair, we're going to go ahead and open the door to gain access to the interior components. Now we've removed the ice bin door just for video purposes, but the next step we're going to take here is removing the 2 1/4-inch screws for the cutting grid cover. Then you can just go ahead and grab the cover and pull it off. To remove the cutting grid, we're going to first disconnect the Molex connector here. And then we're going to remove the 2 1/4-inch screws that are holding the bracket in place. Now with the screws removed, you can just go ahead and slide the grid right out. Just want to be careful that you're not going to catch on your bin thermostat wiring that's on the side of the cabinet here. Once your cutting grid is removed, you can now drop down the control panel assembly. First thing we're going to do is disconnect our 2 Molex connectors, one for your bin thermistor and the one for your evaporator thermistor. And now we've got 4 1/4-inch screws that we're going to remove to drop the control panel down. Once the 4 screws are removed, you want to make sure you're holding on to the control panel assembly because the transformer is very heavy. There's a lot of weight here, more than you would think. And you can kind of just roll this down. That gives you access to all your components inside. You got your main control board and your transformer, your light switch, and your overlay. To replace either your push button assembly or your plunger switch, the overlay actually has to be removed. So when you're replacing either the switches or the plunger switch, you would have to order a new overlay. So to remove the overlay, what we're going to do is use a heat gun. Just heat the glue up. You don't want to put too much heat on it, but just enough to get it pretty warm. Flip the control assembly down and start at a bottom corner. I'm just going to use a putty knife here. Once you get it started, just go ahead and start peeling it off. Now you can go ahead and discard your old overlay. To remove your plunger switch, you're going to begin by disconnecting your 2 wires. And then you're going to take a flathead screwdriver, depress your tab on the top, and you can go in from the underside. Just be careful of your ribbon cable here. And depress your bottom tab. Pull the switch out. Now that we've got a new plunger switch, let's go ahead and install it. Gonna make sure that the terminals are facing up. Push it in and just snap it into place. And we're gonna just go ahead and reconnect our 2 wires. Doesn't matter which wire goes to which side, you're just completing a circuit. And now we can go ahead and install our new overlay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start a screw up through the back. Once you have that one in, I'm going to go to your front corner here. We'll get the other back screw. Go ahead and install your final screw. And now we're ready to install our new overlay. Now we're ready to install the overlay. Our old overlay was not damaged upon removal using the heat gun, so we are just going to basically go ahead and reinstall the old overlay. Just basically going to be pushing it through. And pressing it down in place. Make sure you don't have any bubbles or anything on there. And just go ahead and kind of push your buttons, make sure everything's lined up. You can feel the keypad getting depressed when you're pushing on the buttons. Now we're ready to hook up our thermistor wires and reinstall our cutting grid. Next, we'll reinstall the cutting grid. Gonna basically put it up in the track. You wanna just be careful of your bin thermistor harness and the evaporator thermistor harness. You wanna make sure that it's not gonna catch on either of those. Slide it up in there. And we can go ahead and install the connector. And we're gonna go ahead and put our 2 1/4-inch screws in on each side. Now we can go ahead and reinstall the grid cutter cover. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our cutting grid cover. Just want to make sure that your wire here doesn't get pinched. And that will complete the repair on the Whirlpool freestanding ice maker. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.